Okay. Good morning, everybody. I look so rough today. Been working so much and I just feel like I got hit by a bus, but that's okay because I love Jesus and we're here to talk about Jesus. So thank you guys for popping on this morning. I'm excited to pour into you guys as always, and we will get started. Um, the verse today is from Proverbs 31:18, and that verse is, "She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night." And so we will talk about that a little bit more as we go on. So, just as the early morning sun rises, so it does set on each day. When the sun sets, this woman's lamp is still burning. Make no mistake, the Proverbs 31 woman does indeed sleep. The entire chapter is not about one woman who does everything perfectly, but about many women who exhibit the fear of the Lord in their daily activities. One woman rises early, one woman stays up late. There is no formula to biblical womanhood, only the fear of the Lord. Have you ever heard the phrase burning the midnight oil? Centuries ago, there was no electricity. If someone wanted to stay up late, they had to literally burn the midnight oil for light to keep working or studying. The tiny candlelight sitting in a dark room would fill it with the glow of diligence and steadfastness. The day is not done at the setting of the sun. A person who never quits has a heart that believes in the value of their work. The Proverbs 31 woman can taste that the work of her hands does something good, and she isn't willing to stop. Just as if she were running a race, she keeps going when her arms and legs are tired because she sees the prize of a job well done. What is the prize that she is going after? She works for the profit of a life that labors diligently for the Lord and her family. She never quits and is prepared for service at all times of the day. Her lamp burns throughout the night with preparedness and purpose. So I was kind of reflecting on that and thinking, like, is what I'm doing purposeful all the time? Am I spending my time right, or am I watching Netflix or scrolling through Instagram? Especially like when we get off work, and it's like, do I want to work my business right now? I'm tired and I've had 12-hour shifts. Like, it would be so easy for me to just turn on the TV and just like do nothing with my time. But I have to remember, like, is what I'm doing serving me well? And if it's not, then I don't want to do it. If it's not taking me further and taking me to better places and helping me be a better person. Sitting in front of the TV and watching Tiger King for 10 hours is not going to serve me well. And I guarantee there's nothing good that's going to come out of it. So always kind of reflecting on that, like even when I don't feel like doing something, just thinking like, I know I don't feel like doing it, but if I don't do it, then I'm not going to go anywhere and I'm not going to be where I want to be eventually. So just kind of thinking at it as like a whole perspective and where I'm going to be in the future. Um, we must be prepared at all times for the coming of the Lord with our midnight oil. In Matthew 5:15, Jesus describes the people of God as a lamp that is lit and gives light to the whole house. He concludes in verse 16, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." The purpose for burning the midnight oil is to glorify God. In the exact same way, we can burn our midnight oil to be prepared for all that God has for us and to shine brightly in the darkness of the world, the gospel of Jesus Christ. And one of my favorite verses is from Matthew 5:14, and it says, "Be a light for all to see," and so I always reflect on that too. Like, even in this dark world or where people are grumpy or in a bad mood or, whatever, I always reflect on that and say, like, I'm going to choose to be the light in this world, and I'm going to choose to be the good person, and I'm going to be the one who encourages someone and lifts someone up instead of, following the trend and being ugly or following what the news is saying and being upset about stuff that is out of my control. Um, another favorite verse that came to mind when I was reading these is, I don't even know what the verse is, and I should have looked it up, but it's, "Anyone can find the dirt in someone, be the one who finds the gold." And I love that one too. Um, always, again, it kind of goes hand in hand with always looking to be the light for someone and just choosing to be the positive person, um, and shine brightly for Jesus and, show this world who we are and who we follow. And so, by doing so, we can just choose to be that light for someone. So it says, Do you burn the midnight oil for the glory of God, or do you stay up late for your own desires or out of lack of preparedness? And I kind of talked about this too. We can even use time wisely at night to bring purpose and light to this world. So, um, reflecting on that, do you burn the midnight oil for the glory of God? So, are you setting yourself up at night to do His good works? And I can tell you guys about my nightly routine. Like every single night, no matter how tired I am, I still will do my devotionals, and I do them in the morning too, but I do different ones at night on my phone when I lay down. And my husband and I pray together every single night, and I'll read a chapter of my book if I didn't get to do it in the morning. And so just doing some of those things and setting myself up for success has really helped me grow closer to God and figure out what it is that I want to do and where I want to go in life. Another thing that I do is I make my plan for the next day. So there's that saying, what is it? um, if you fail to prepare, then you will be prepared to fail. So I always kept that in mind. Even when I was like prepping for a bikini show, like a really long time ago, they always said that, like, make sure that you're prepping your food for the week, because if you don't prep your food, like you're going to end up not, you're going to end up eating crap during the week. And that's so true. Like sometimes when I forget to bring my food to work, or I'm like running late, I don't have food. So I'm like, oh, guess I'll just get, Chick-fil-A today, which Chick-fil-A is the Lord's calories, so that doesn't even count. But anyways, always make a plan for your next day. So write out your day. Some people do it by the week, but I like to do mine for the day. I'll say like, I'm setting my alarm for 7, wake up, walk the dog, like listen to my leadership podcast, do my devotionals, reach out to so-and-so, like, whatever, but just make your plan for the day to make sure that you're going to be productive for the day. And then the next verse is Proverbs 31:19. It says, she puts her hands to the distaff and her hands hold the spindle. Um, the very first act in the Bible was creation, the forming of something out of nothing. God created the heavens and the earth and everything in it. He created light and darkness. He created the waters and the seas. He created dry land, vegetation, the stars, the moon, and the sun. He created every single living creature, both great and microscopically small. He created the birds, the cows, and every creeping thing. God spoke and creation existed. To top off the glory of the creation of mankind, of the world, God created man. Thus far, everything he had created he deemed as good. But it wasn't until the fashioning of mankind that he said his creation was very good. The creation account is an incredible display of God's workmanship as the creator of creativity and the author of ingenuity. He created man in the image of God after his likeness. We reflect our creator in who we are, and we reflect a unique aspect of his creativity. God modeled for us the perfection and glory of creativity when he made the earth and formed the bones of man. He breathed life into Adam and made him come alive. As women who reflect our creator, we can learn about the art of creativity from God himself. God created in order. There were 7 days of creation. Each day had a purpose and a plan and a sequence to follow. It all began with nothing and turned into a glorious masterpiece. Just as weaver weaves together thread to make a piece of art, so did God take each thread of creation to create a beautiful display of his glory. Because God created in order, so we can create in this way. Order is a unique part of creating. The woman in Proverbs 31 first holds the distaff and then the spindle. The distaff and the spindle were tools that women used to make thread for clothing. She first spins tiny fibers into thread and then makes the thread into cloth for the foundation of an article of clothing. She can't use the fibers to create a tunic because they don't have purpose until they have been made into a thread. The process has order, and the order takes time, patience, and diligence. In what ways do you consider yourself to be creative? It may be musically, artistically, or even logistically. Your brain was formed by the Lord to function in a unique way for his good purposes. Knowing the ways you are passionate and gifted opens the doors for you to be used by God for his kingdom. Write down what sets your heart on fire in regards to creativity. And I really wanted to share, this is, I was reading this the other day, like right before I did the study, and I was like, geez, God really did put this in my path for a reason, because it kind of goes hand in hand with our gifts that we have. And the verse is it's Romans 12 verses 4 through 19. And so I'm going to read it. It says, "So it is with Christ's body, we are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other. In his grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out with as much faith as God has given you. But if your gift is serving others, then serve them well. If you are a teacher, teach well. If your gift is to encourage others, then be encouraging. If it is giving, then give generously. If God has given you leadership ability, take the responsibility seriously. And if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, then do it gladly. Don't just pretend to love others, really love them. Hate what is wrong and hold tightly to what is good. Love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. Never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord enthusiastically. Rejoice in our confident hope. Be patient in trouble and keep on praying. When God's people are in need, we have to be ready to help them. Always be eager to practice hospitality." And I really love that too, because I feel like sometimes in this world, we can get so caught up in comparison, and I'm not where I want to be, or why am I not like her, or what is she doing that I'm not doing? And God says in the Bible, like it says in his grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So we are not all meant to be the same and do the same things. And that's what makes us so unique. And I love that. And it is so reassuring to me, because it's like, I serve others really well, but I'm not really good at teaching, or I'm not good at speaking, but I'm good at, this. And so I love that, because it's God literally said that, like, if you serve others well, then that's what you were meant to do. And you were meant to serve others. And, if you were meant to teach, then teach well and do it well. And so that has always really helped me when I've been caught up in comparison with myself and other people. So I really wanted to share that, because I thought it was a really good verse. Someone asked, and it's Romans chapter 12, verse 4 through 19 is what it is. And I can post it in the chat in a second. So there's that excerpt. God could have created everything in a day. He is all powerful and all knowing. However, he chose to spread out creation in a specific order and enjoy his good work at the end of each day. He modeled for us what we can't skip to the end of a project and be done. An artist can't pick up a brush with one stroke and have a masterpiece. An accountant can't input one number and have a balance sheet. Each step of creating takes time, patience, and diligence. God modeled for us so that we could have joy in the midst of our daily creative work and the process it takes to create a work of art. And I really love that this is in here too, because I feel like so often we just want the end result of things, and we can only see like where we want to be in life. And, here God is kind of reminding us, again, he could have created the whole world in a day. He probably could have done it in 0.01 seconds if he wanted to, but he did it over 7 whole days to show us, like, beautiful things take time. And that's so important with us too. We want to be, when I was in nursing school, I was like, I can't wait to be a nurse, and I want to be a nurse so bad. And then it was like, I can't wait to be a wife, and I want to be a wife so bad. And, I can't wait to be a mom, or whatever it is in life. And, we just strive so much for the end result, not realizing like God is working in us today, and, planting seeds in us, and they're not quite yet sprouting, but that they will. And we need to enjoy where we are and know that this is a process for us, and that we will eventually grow into the person that God called us to be, and we will be his beautiful masterpiece. And so that is something I also really like. Another thing that I wrote down here is, and I'm really going to butcher this because I read it in a book like a few weeks ago, and I was like, wow, that's really good. I need to save it. And I didn't save it. So this is just coming from my memory. But it was talking about how Thomas Edison, when he created the light bulb, that before that, he had like apparently thousands of other projects that he had done or tried, and thousands of other failed attempts at creating the light bulb. And it's like, if he would have done one project and it would have failed, like, what if he would have never kept going, and said like, eventually I'm going to be where I want to be and I'm going to create this beautiful thing, and it kind of goes with us too. Like he just never gave up and he knew he had this end result in mind, and that he knew that the light bulb would eventually, come to be and we would have electricity and this incredible invention. But it's like, if he would have never taken that leap of faith and continued to be patient and continued to be diligent in his work and just failed or gave up after the first failed attempt, we wouldn't be here. Same thing with airplanes and all that kind of stuff. So it's just really crazy to think about, like, someone's leap of faith and someone's diligence and perseverance kind of led us to where we are now. So your simple act of obedience could lead you somewhere that you have no idea where God is taking you. And the next thing it says, God rested from creating. God also rested from his work. Again, this is not because God grew tired and needed a Sunday afternoon nap. We all know from Isaiah 40, verse 28, that he never grows faint or weary. Instead, he wove into the fabric of the earth the importance of rest. Rest is a part of the act of creating. It honors God and it furthers our work. Do you struggle to incorporate rest into your days? God created rest as a source of strength and joy, not another item to check off our to-do list. When we rest, we do more by doing nothing. Read Isaiah 30:15. What does it say? What does God tell us about the gift of rest? And that verse is, "This is what the sovereign Lord said. Only in returning to me and resting in me will you be saved. In quietness and confidence is your strength." And I think that's so important too, because again, like, we get so caught up in daily things, like, okay, I work Monday and then Tuesday I have to do this, and then Wednesday I need to go run errands, I need to visit with my mom, and then Thursday's this, Friday's this, Saturday's this, Sunday we got to do all the laundry and go grocery shopping, and then Monday we're going to start all over. Like, we get so caught up in our daily routines that we forget to just take a second and rest and realize, like, we wouldn't be here without Jesus, and the only reason I'm living and breathing right now is because of him. And so, something that my husband and I do on Sundays when I'm not working is we either go to church, or during all this Corona stuff, we have been streaming it from home. And it's been such a good reminder for us, to just kind of sit and relax and remember why we're even here or why we're even doing what we're doing. And every single Sunday, we always get blown away with the sermons that are preached, because we're like, wow, we really needed to hear that today. So knowing that, again, in quietness and confidence is your strength. So taking time to sit back and reflect and learn about Jesus and listen to what he's telling you is where we find our strength, because he is the one who provides that for us. And it's really hard to listen to him and find that strength from within when we're not giving him a second of our day, because we're just so busy doing what we had planned to do. So that's a really good reminder for me, because I too can get so caught up in my daily activities that I can forget to sit down and be like, I need to spend 30 minutes with Jesus right now. I don't care how busy my day is. Rest is a necessary act of worship and a gift of God. Take time this day to find rest from your creative work to simply worship your Creator. Just as we noted earlier, the art of creativity takes time, patience, and diligence. It takes time to work, to plan, and to be still. It takes patience to create, to believe, and to work through each step. Even further, it takes diligence to keep going, keep making, and keep creating for the glory of God. Your creativity is a gift of God, so use it for his glory. Let's see. Creator God, we thank you for creating us in your image. We ask that you would unleash your creativity in us. Show us ways that we can create for your glory. Nothing is too small for you. Teach us to rest from our work, to embrace each step in order, and to create for the joy of knowing you and making you known. Our hands are yours. The last part of God's creation was the forming of woman out of one of Adam's ribs. In Genesis 2:21 through 23, God created a helper for Adam, and she was called woman. As women, we were created by God to be helpers and creators. When Eve, the first woman, was formed by God out of Adam's rib, God instituted the first marriage. We were created by God and for God with a unique purpose on this earth. In marriage, we create new life through birth. In our daily walk with God, we can create joy and hope around us because of the Lord who lives in us. We are created to create. Read Ephesians 2, verse 10. How does God describe his people? That verse says, For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us new in Jesus Christ so that we can do the good things He planned for us long ago. We are created by God to do His good works that last for all eternity. The Creator of the world formed you for a purpose, so live in that purpose today. And then I also wrote down, um, Matthew 6, verse 25 through 34. And so I want to read that to you guys because I wrote it down for a reason. Okay. Okay. So I wrote down, this is why I tell you not to worry about everyday life, whether you have enough food and drink or enough clothes to wear. Isn't life more than food and your body more than clothes? Look at the birds. They don't plant or harvest or store food in barns, for your heavenly Father feeds them. And aren't you more valuable to Him than they are? Can all your worries add a single moment to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? Look at the lilies of the field and how they grow. They don't work or make their clothing, yet Solomon in all his glory was not dressed as beautifully as they are. And if God cares so wonderfully for the wildflowers that are here today and thrown into the fire tomorrow, then He will certainly care for you. Why do you have so little faith? Do not worry about these things, saying, what will we eat? What will we drink? Or what will we wear? These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers, but your heavenly Father already knows all your needs. Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and He will give you everything you need. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. And I love that so much because so often I feel like we think like maybe God doesn't see us, or maybe our dreams are not big enough. And, how are we going to how am I going to graduate? How am I going to get the job? How am I going to, you know, do all these things? How am I going to do it? And here God is telling you, why are you worrying about that stuff? Like, do you see the flowers in the field growing? Like, they grow because I make them grow. Like, they don't sit there and worry about what they're going to eat. Like, God provides for the flowers and the birds. The birds have homes outside, and God provides those homes and like gives them shelter and provides them with the little pieces of wood and, the little pieces of trees that give the birds their home. And so that is like so convicting to me to read, because it's like God handles like the tiny and minute things that we don't even think about. I don't think about the flowers outside and how it rains and they get fed and they grow. Like, it's just something that happens. Yet I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, how am I going to do this tomorrow? Or how am I going to make this work? And God is telling me, why do you have such little faith in me? Like, don't you see the little things in life that I do on a daily basis? And you don't even trust me with the big things that you're asking me for. And so I really loved that so much. I actually woke up with that verse on my mind one day, and I think I posted a picture on Instagram about it. And then when I was doing this, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be really perfect. So again, that's Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 through 34. So let's see. Some women do not think they are creative at all. Ask God to show how you reflect His creativity in a unique way and how you can use this for His glory. And I kind of touched on this already, but just knowing that your creativity is going to look very different from the person sitting next to you's creativity, or your mom, your sister, your best friend. Again, we were back from Romans chapter 12, like, we are all made to do different things, and we all have incredible gifts that God has given us, and we're not all going to be the same. And that's what makes us so unique. And so just knowing that, just because like I really stink at drawing, I can make a stick figure and that's about it. But someone else, can create a masterpiece, with the same tools that I have. So just realizing that I'm not going to be good at a lot of things that some other people are, but there are a lot of things that I'm good at that other people are not good at. So realizing what your creativities are and what your strengths are and building upon them, rather than trying to be someone or turn into someone else that you're not. Just building on what God gave you and, really channeling that and figuring out how you can best use your gifts for Him and His kingdom and to further build His kingdom. So that is actually it for today. There was a lot of really good nuggets in there. Holy cow. I didn't realize there were so many good things in there. So I will give you all the option if you want to share something. And if not, that's okay. I know that talking about your faith and about Jesus is just making you very vulnerable. I have realized that because I sat on this opportunity for a really long time because I was scared. So if you don't want to share anything, that is totally fine. But I always want to give people the option to share if they want. So once I figure out how to unmute everybody. Oh, here we go. No, that's not right. I don't really know what I'm doing here. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, y'all are unmuted. Wow, I'm really good at technology, honestly. Okay, and I just put those verses back in the chat if anyone missed them. But we are running out of time because I don't have upgraded Zoom. I need to do that. So I will end the meeting.